Good day to you all from Maths Global Learning Hub. This is Mr. T presenting a lesson on counting principle. Digits 0 to 9, where digits may not be repeated. And the first digit may not be 0. What is the probability? That the number will be even. I'll begin here by analyzing the question. I'm going to write down the even numbers that I have. And then the odd numbers. And I have a total of 10 digits. In step 1, I'm going to find the sample space, and I'm going to approach this question in the following manner. Part 1, suppose I start with an even number. And remember, we are creating a 4-digit number. And I have a restriction here, and I also have a restriction at the end. So I must do the restrictions first before I complete the question. So if I start with an even number, I will see that I have 5 even numbers. But the question says we should not start with a 0. So my numbers are going to be limited to 4. And then in the last part here, I have used an even number, but that even number was not 0. So at the end here, I still have 4 numbers. Then I've used the 2 numbers out of the 10 digits, so I'm left with 8 numbers. And remember, we are not repeating, so the digits reduce to 7 in the 3rd position. And then I multiply, and if I multiply, I'm going to get 896. Then if I move on here, start with an odd number. Again, I have 4 positions, but I also have a restriction here, and then I have a restriction at the end. How many odd numbers do I have? I have 5 odd numbers, and I also have 5 even numbers. I have used 2 digits so far. It means I'm left with 8 digits for the 2nd position. And remember, the question says digits may not be repeated, so this reduces to 7. Then I'm going to multiply, and if I multiply, I'm going to get 1400. Therefore, my sample space is going to be 2296. Moving on to step number 2, I'm going to do arrangements with no restrictions at all. And if I do that, I also have 4 positions. I have 10 numbers, but I should not start with a 0 at the start. So I'm going to write here no 0. This means I'm going to have 9 numbers. But as I move on here, I have to put the 0 back. So I can write here in the second place, 0 is back. And I have 9 here. And then it reduces to 8. Then in the final position, it reduces to 7 ways. And if I multiply here my numbers, I'm going to get 4,536. Then I go to the last step, step 3. The final answer. I'm looking for the probability of an even number. So this is going to be equal to my sample space divided by no restrictions. And the final answer that I'm getting here is going to be 41/81 is a fraction. You can also write your answer as a decimal or as a percentage. This wraps up our lesson for today on counting principle. Thank you for your time.